Imagine this. The most feared army in history charges across a dusty valley, bows drawn, certain of another easy victory. They see their enemy retreating exactly as expected. But what they don't see are thousands of elite cavalry hidden in the hills on both sides. One signal, one coordinated charge, and in minutes the myth of Mongol invincibility shatters forever. September 3rd, 1260, the Battle of Ain Jalut. Today, we're going to break down exactly how a brilliant commander turned the world's deadliest war machine into prey, using nothing but deception, timing, and razor-sharp tactics. You're about to discover what made the Mongols seem truly unstoppable for 40 years, why the Mamluk slave warriors were built differently, and how one perfectly executed fake retreat changed the course of 3 continents. Stick around, because this isn't just a battle story. It's proof that raw power, even overwhelming power, can be completely undone by the right mind at the right moment. Let's rewind to understand the monster they were facing. In the next chapter, you'll see why no one, not China, not Persia, not even Baghdad, had ever stopped them. For 40 years, one name struck terror from the Pacific to the gates of Europe: the Mongols. Under Genghis Khan and his successors, they built the largest land empire the world had ever seen. Medieval sources describe armies sweeping across entire continents, crushing China in the east, shattering Persia in the center, and in 1258 turning Baghdad, the glittering heart of the Islamic world, into ruins. What made them so terrifying wasn't just numbers, it was ruthless efficiency wrapped in psychological dominance. Every Mongol warrior was raised on horseback. They could shoot composite bows, curved, powerful weapons designed for accuracy at full gallop with devastating speed, up to 10 or more arrows a minute while riding. Their armies were organized in a decimal system, units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. Flags, horns, and fast messengers let commanders shift thousands of riders across miles of battlefield in minutes. But the real weapon was fear. When Mongol scouts appeared on the horizon, cities often surrendered before a single arrow flew. Why fight when resistance meant total destruction? Families slaughtered, buildings razed, while submission might let you live as a taxed subject. Stories spread faster than their horses. Resist and vanish from history. Yield and survive. This terror tactic worked everywhere, from Korea to Hungary. By 1260, the Mongol momentum seemed unbreakable. Hulagu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, had already taken Syria. His general, Kitbuka, pushed south toward Egypt with orders to finish the job. Estimates vary, but even conservative modern historians place the Mongol vanguard force in Palestine at around 10,000 to 20,000 warriors, veterans backed by local allies. They rode with supreme confidence. No major army had ever stopped them in open battle. But here's what no one expected. A new kind of opponent waited in the shadows. Elite warriors who had spent their entire lives training for exactly this kind of fight, and one commander who had studied the Mongols up close, knew their patterns, their pride, their favorite tactics. He was about to turn their greatest strength into a fatal weakness. In the next chapter, you'll meet the Mamluks, the warrior slaves who became the last line of defense. Facing this rolling storm of conquest stood the Mamluks, a force like nothing the Mongols had encountered. These weren't ordinary soldiers drafted from farms or knights chasing glory. Mamluks were warrior slaves bought as young boys from the steppes and mountains around the Black Sea and Caucasus. From age 7, their lives became one endless drill, mastering horses, weapons, and war. They trained in archery until they could hit targets at full speed. Sword skills turned into pure reflex. Most of all, they perfected heavy cavalry charges, coordinated strikes that could overwhelm enemies in tight combat. Medieval chroniclers describe a system of total dedication. No distractions like politics or trade, just warfare, day after day. While a Mongol warrior was a master generalist, adaptable across endless plains and sieges, a Mamluk was a specialized blade, forged for destroying cavalry up close. Heavier armor, stronger mounts bred for battle chaos. In 1260, the stakes couldn't be higher. With Baghdad fallen and Syria under Mongol control, Egypt's Mamluk Sultanate was the last major stronghold left. Sultan Qutuz rallied his commanders, including Baibars, a sharp-eyed leader who'd watched the Mongols conquer Damascus. He'd noted their love for open fields where speed ruled, their habit of chasing retreats without question. And in broken valleys where coordination faltered, a vulnerability emerged. What if they could bait that pursuit, turn the Mongols' confidence into a deadly mistake? Baibars thought yes, and he was ready to prove it. In the next chapter, you'll see the dawn of decision, how the Valley of Ain Jalut became the perfect stage for deception. Dawn breaks over the Valley of Ain Jalut on September 3rd, 1260. Kitbuka's Mongol vanguard, thousands of riders strong, crests the hills. Below, near the springs, they spot a Mamluk force, maybe a few thousand cavalry, loosely arrayed. Kitbuka sees opportunity. This looks like another quick win, the kind they'd claimed dozens of times. The Mongols advance in their proven formation, heavy riders center, light archers flanks, reserves ready. As bows come into range, the Mamluk banner rises. Their commander, Baibars, turns his horse. The whole force wheels back. Not chaos, but a steady pull-away. It screams, retreat. And for Mongols, retreat meant vulnerability. Doctrine drilled it, chase, break, destroy. Kitbuka had seen it work, from rivers in Hungary to fields in Poland. He commits. Light cavalry surges, arrows flying. Some Mamluks fall, real enough to sell the act. But Baibars controls the pace. Fast to tempt, slow to stay in reach. Formations hold just enough, loose but not breaking. Small groups peel off, mimicking collapse. Psychological gold. The valley narrows. Mile by mile, the trap tightens. Mongol lines stretch, faster units ahead, others lagging. Coordination frays in the dust. 3 miles in, Kitbuka spots the indisintegrating foe. He pushes reserves forward. Now the entire force strings out, eyes locked ahead, oblivious to the hills. Silence holds. Then, signal. In the next chapter, you'll witness the unleash, the moment hidden forces turn the tide. At the signal, silence explodes. From the eastern hills, Sultan Qutuz leads nearly 5,000 heavy cavalry in a thunderous charge. From the western slopes, Baybar's lieutenant unleashes another 4,000. Fresh, rested, armored riders pour down both flanks at once. The Mongols, stretched thin across the valley floor, are caught mid-pursuit. 1 second they're hunters, the next they're surrounded. Mongol communications collapse in the dust and roar. Flags vanish in haze. Horn signals drown under hooves and steel. Their famous decimal coordination, perfect on open plains, becomes useless in this narrow kill zone. While Mongols excel at hit-and-run archery and wide maneuvers, the Mamluks had trained their whole lives for exactly this, close-quarters mounted melee. Heavier armor shrugs off glancing arrows. Swords flash in disciplined arcs. Horses, bred for the crush of battle, hold steady. The Mongols fight fiercely, veterans to the end, but the advantage flips hard. Formation breaks into desperate clusters. Kitbuka tries to rally, shouting orders, pulling reserves that no longer exist as units. Too late. The encirclement tightens. Overwhelmed in the immediate fight zone, Mongol resistance crumbles. Kitbuka falls in the melee. With their commander gone, what remains of the vanguard disintegrates. Survivors scatter toward the hills. Few make it. This wasn't a lucky ambush. It was precision engineering. Baibars had turned Mongol psychology, confidence in pursuit, against them. He'd baited the chase, stretched the line, then slammed the jaws shut. The hunters became the hunted. And in that valley, the myth of inevitable Mongol victory died. In the next chapter, you'll see the ripples, how one battle halted an empire and reshaped 3 continents. The dust settles in the valley of Ain Jalut. What remains is a shattered Mongol vanguard, once the spearhead of an unstoppable empire. Survivors limp back to Damascus, carrying news no one wanted to hear. Defeat. Total, undeniable defeat in the field. Word spreads fast. In Europe, where kings had braced for the next wave after earlier Mongol raids, the reports spark relief and even quiet celebration from Paris to Vienna. The shadow that had loomed over Christendom for decades suddenly recedes. Closer to home in the Islamic world, the impact hits harder. Syrian cities that had submitted to Mongol rule begin to stir. Aleppo, Homs, Damascus, local leaders who had accepted terms now expel garrisons or openly rebel. The aura of inevitability cracks. Estimates vary on exact numbers, but medieval chroniclers and modern historians agree this was the first clear, major open-field defeat of a main Mongol army in the West. No bad weather to blame. No sudden death of a great Khan forcing withdrawal. Just superior tactics, better preparation, and one commander who read his enemy perfectly. Hulagu Khan receives the report in his capital. He faces an impossible choice: pour more forces west to avenge Kitbuka, risking rebellion in the east, or accept that the machine has reached its limit. He chooses consolidation. The relentless westward push stops. Within a generation, the unified Mongol Empire fractures into rival khanates: the Golden Horde, the Ilkhanate, the Yuan, the Chagatai. None regains the overwhelming dominance that once made resistance seem futile. Ain Jalut doesn't end Mongol power overnight, but it ends the myth. It proves that even the most feared military system rests on specific advantages, advantages that can be studied, countered, and turned against them. Baibars had done exactly that. One valley, one trap, one moment of tactical genius, and 3 continents feel the shift. This battle reminds us raw power is formidable, but intelligence, patient, precise, ruthless, can break even the unbreakable. If stories of strategy that changed history fascinate you, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Next up, how this Mamluk victory set the stage for the rise of the Ottoman Empire. One turning point leads to another. Ain Jalut wasn't just a clash of armies. It was a masterclass in how clever strategy can topple giants. If you felt that spark of awe, seeing how one bold plan flipped the script on history, then you're in the right place. Subscribe now for more breakdowns of battles where underdogs rewrite the rules. Hit that bell so you never miss the next one. And if you're wondering how this Mamluk stand paved the way for empires like the Ottomans, check out the video in the cards or description. Thanks for watching. What battle should we dissect next? Drop it in the comments.